Wherever you are or like whatever you're at, I want you to embrace the struggle, because from there you're going to find your strength. You're going to find your success. Myself and my staff are going to find ways to challenge you, to push you, to force you to grow.
I like the personal touch. I've been to very expensive gyms and there was no personal touch.
At least for me, what I think the biggest thing that sets OPT apart from everywhere else, I just haven't seen anywhere that has this sense of family, sense of connection, togetherness at any other gym.
Ever since I came here, I started to get a lot stronger in the water, and I've gotten faster and better.
I have always been really intimidated by gyms. They take the intimidation factor away. They tailor it for me and my workout friends. The energy is so phenomenal. You've got, us mature folks that work out right next to the student athletes, and I think it's just such a great energy. I really love it.
He's really motivational. I mean, like, whenever you're like, I don't know, you don't think you can keep going, he always pushes you to do more. And then once you're done, you realize how much of a positive impact it has.
He's just very inspiring. He almost forces you to want to be better and feel better and do better. And that's why I think everybody comes here, is because everybody feels good when they're here.
I was a trainer for about 4 years at a main corporate gym, 24-hour fitness. And there was a chiropractor there who had worked out there for a while, and he had his own business. And he came up to me one day and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a trainer to train out of my chiropractor place. I really like your style. I've watched you now for a few months. Would you want to be that trainer?" And I was like, "Sure, like, why not?" So he took me to his place, and OPT started inside of an exam room. It was a 150 square foot exam room. And when I started, I had a $90 to my name as far as, okay, how am I going to do all this? And I just jumped from 24-hour fitness. I quit and jumped right into it. And that's kind of the inception of OPT, of, jump first, fear second, I guess. What we're promoting is stepping outside of your comfort zone. So within that environment, you find every single person, from weight loss to sports performance, pushing their personal limits, not only as a workout-wise, but again, who they are as people. And so when I push the family atmospheres, I want people to interact here in a healthy environment. When they go outside interacting with their family, I want them to be positive influence. I want them to be good, strong footholds for maybe their husband or their wife or their sibling or their brother, whatever it may be. I want them to be that positive structure for them. And then when you're here, it doesn't matter, again, what background you come from, how much money you make, the color of your skin, the sport you play or don't play, or if you're weight loss or whatever, it's all the same here. You're gonna get your limits pushed. You're gonna, struggle. And here we're here to empower each other, push everyone to get better together. Tell someone they're doing a great job. I'm gonna say, "Hey man, you're doing an amazing job. You're doing great." But I'm gonna find things that push your buttons, right? Especially with my athletes. I'm gonna get in your head. I'm gonna say some things that might get under your skin to fluster your consciousness. I want to. Why? Because that's what happens when you're away from here. One of the biggest quotes that I have in the studio is, the phrase, "You won't." And that's a whole philosophy on its own. But it's like, when someone's, weight loss or whatever, like, you won't go faster. You won't do an extra set. You won't, right? Because kind of that whole reverse psychology type of thing, in hopes that, again, they take the action to go above and beyond. As well as, I don't accept excuses. I really don't accept excuses. Because everyone has excuses. Every single person can have hundreds and thousands of excuses. And if I let people's excuses get in the way, then they're never truly going to see how powerful they are. They're never really going to start tapping into their potential. And that's my job, is to show you what you're capable of doing and to ensure that you get there. You're going to get knocked down, and I want to see you get knocked down because that's how we're going to build you. That's how we're going to get you to where you need to be. And you're not the only one. Everyone in here is going through that same exact struggle that you are. And it's very empowering, and it's very fulfilling to see. One of the things I'm passionate about is community. And I was, fortunate enough to go to Peru twice with an organization called Global Citizens Network, which I'm a leader for them. I went on a trip, I took their leader in training, I fell in love with their philosophy, their organization. So I'm a leader for them now. But on this second time I went to Peru, I was just a participant, and I took 3 of my clients that I train with me, college kids, to share that experience with. And when you're there, it is it's such a connection with the community because it's from person to person. It's not, hey, we're coming in to fix you. We're coming in to do this for you. It's, hey, let's create something together. Let's create an experience together. And together with the community and the community leaders and family members, it's this like energy of positivity and growth. And so when we were there the second time, we were building classrooms for their high school. So on one side they have elementary, this side they're going to start a high school. So we were building classrooms for the high school, laying floor or clearing out the floor, laying concrete, putting on the roofs, like making sidewalks. Like it was really, really awesome. So Autism Academy, I do PE coaching there twice a week. And that is just like an opportunity that was presented to me, and I was like, sure, I would totally be into that. And like being there now and working with the kids going on my second year, it's like seeing them grow and how smart they are and how funny they are and how much personality they have. And it's so uncensored and just raw. Like being around them is so, it's fulfilling, right? It pushes you as a person. It really does. It pushes your patience. It pushes your skill. It pushes your knowledge. But it's very fulfilling. It's very humbling too, right? The simplest things that maybe whoever else can do, they might find very challenging. And so it's been such a unique opportunity for me to sit back and view how I train people or interact with people from a completely different perspective, but also become close with the kids. Like they're awesome kids. So for 2 years, I started this, I did this program that I started called Help a Human, which once a month, people from OPT would go to a park, or anyone in general, but it started, right, because that's my community, that's my family. With OPT is once a month we would take pillowcases out to Margaret T. Ants Park, and in the pillowcases were all the things that at the very first we thought that homeless people wanted or needed, which we were so wrong. But not only was it like food and clothes, but what set this apart was I wanted to create authentic interaction. So in every single one of the pillowcases was a letter of authentic sharing. It could be, hey, this is who I am. It could be, a positive letter of, hey, like whatever someone wanted to write to inspire another person. It could have been a secret, something they've never told anybody. It could be a story about them. So we did this once a month for 2 years, and it was awesome. And I had 3 guys that I became really close with out there who told me their whole life story. They knew my life story. And when we'd show up, we'd just hang out for like 2.5, 3 hours, just hang out, talk, and get to know them. But so many people have this view of homelessness or homeless people. And when you get to talk to them, you see how easily it could have been you. Like you literally see, wow, if one little thing would have changed in my life, I could have easily ended up here, right? Or you understand that some people on this earth are just very fragile human beings and they handle struggle completely different than somebody else. And then you find new sense of understanding, compassion, and knowledge as far as these people aren't broken people. These people are outcasts. These people are human. And they didn't have opportunities the way that we had opportunities. Or maybe they didn't have someone that could help them heal or guide them or help them, understand who they are as people, that they can get out of certain situations, that, they just didn't, they walked a different path. But that doesn't make them less of a person. It doesn't make them less of a human. For me, I'm very big on personal development, huge into that. Because of the life I had growing up, because of the certain struggles or the things that I had to overcome, led me to, there's something going on internally with me that isn't quite there. It's not clicking. And then I started to work on myself, and my whole entire life changed. My whole entire world changed. My energy, just everything about me, all these things that internally I couldn't even intellectualize, all of a sudden I could. The craziest stuff when we talk about transformation, again, which is why I'm so open to it, is because most people want to live their life only showing you their best side. They're really embarrassed to talk about the things that they do in the dark, or the failures that they have, or their weaknesses, or their addictions. Because we're taught that, right? You're taught to look the best, or be the best, or don't ever let anyone know you're a failure. Don't ever let anyone know these bad things about you. If you really want to get the healing, or you really want to grow as a person, you just got to rip all that up and go to work on the darkest spaces. Bring light to the darkest of spaces, and that's where you're going to find the most growth. That's where you're going to find the most healing. That's where you're going to find the most power in who you really are as a person. Because everyone's going to make mistakes. Everyone's going to fail. Everyone's going to have some type of pain or struggle in their life somewhere down the road in some way, shape, or form. When you start to become a different person, things don't become easier. They become harder, right? But you have more power to deal with those things. Since that, I feel like things have gotten so much harder for me, but I have so much more power and knowledge and wisdom to deal with things in such a different light that I wouldn't have it any other way. And, personal transformation is, once it starts, it never stops. It's a constant internal look of, how do I create harmony inside? How do I maintain this internal peace, this healing, this whatever, forever? Self-expression doesn't mean recklessness. Self-expression means you operate from a space of passion, a place of wisdom, a place of positivity, right? And when you operate from that space in a self-expressive manner, it looks completely different. To be a passionate person, right? To be a person that lives your life to the fullest, you have to be self-expressed. And so if you look at like children, right? You look at a child, they have no censor, they have no filter. They will dance, they will sing, they will run, they will climb, they will share, right? Because they're living from their spirit, but they're not afraid. And we're taught as you get older to be afraid. You're taught, be afraid of this, be afraid of that. Don't ever show anyone who you really are, because God forbid you get laughed at or made fun of, or it isn't perfect, or it's not the best, or you don't become famous, or whatever. So I share because it's a form of self-expression. And when you are be able to open yourself from a place of authenticity, you're going to connect. You will find people that resonates with. You will start to attract people into your world that are on that same frequency as you. And so for me, it's always very scary, but I always go into a situation, whether it be sharing some of my poetry, putting out a writing of mine, talking to a client, putting a client through a program or accomplishing a goal, is I always put myself out there because I never know who it might affect. And if I can help just one person, then that's all that matters to me. And I think it's so important to me because as I was growing up, right, going through all of my struggle, my pain, my whatever, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a person to look up to. I didn't, oh, my dad's my hero, my mom's my hero. I didn't have any, And so for me, if I can help somebody and be that foothold or that person for them, so they don't have to walk the same path that I did, then it means more to me than anything.